just really nice to see you again. I know that you mentioned in the book a little bit about your son, and the folks on the call learned that I have two somewhat feral children. How have how have you taken what you've learned about yourself and learned about this process and applied it to your relationships with your family and with your loved ones? Because I know at least some of the parents on the call, we were commiserating that our leisure time really is, it's kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul, to give it to the kids or to give it to the spouse maybe sometimes. So I'd be interested to hear how that's going for you.
So my son's 24 now, just graduated from college. There's a couple things I'll say. I mean, first, I felt very guilty because as I went through this process of discovering these things in myself, I saw how I had instilled these same values in my kid, and that made me feel terrible. So I've tried really hard, maybe too hard. Your kids hate to get advice from you. So to counter all of those things I had said before. But I think one of the things is constantly reminding myself that his solutions will not be the same as mine. And just because I have made mistakes and then found really workable solutions to, various things in my own life, it doesn't mean his solutions are wrong because they're not the same, right? Like, for example, my son sleeps really late in the day. He stays up late and he gets up like at noon in the day. And every part of my body is like, be an adult. That is not what an adult does, right? Like, you can't function in life by getting up at 12 o'clock or 1 p.m., but that's not true, right? Like, if it doesn't work for him, then we're going to find that out pretty quick. Like, he won't be able to get things done. He won't do stuff. But if it's working for him, why am I telling him this is the wrong habit to have? Like, who do I get off saying you need to have the same schedule I do, even though every fiber of my being tells me what his habit is wrong. So that is constantly reminding me that some of these values haven't been implanted in me, and they're not necessarily values, right? They're just habits. So that's one thing. Another thing, when you're talking about grabbing Peter to pay Paul, is like, I have learned to treat him the way I do my employees, which is basically, I start to view myself, like when I hire somebody, I hire them because they have different talents and skills, and they're really good at a particular thing maybe I'm not good at. And then I leave them alone until there's something I can do to help them and support them and make sure they have all they need. Well, I wouldn't hire them if I needed to manage them, right? Like, I let them do their jobs. And to a same way, it's like the same with my son. I'm like, his job is to grow up, and I'm here, I'm ready to step in when I need to, absolutely. But other than that, I'm going to let him do his job and stop inserting myself like I know better. So I don't know if that's helpful, but it has been helpful to me.
Thank